Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jaimini Astrology channel. I believe today it's going to be a great session. I would say I'm going to cover a few points. I'm going to explain a few things. So please bear with me. Obviously, today's session is dedicated, is for people who have got keen interest in Jyotisha, who are open-minded, who are serious students of Jyotisha, I would say. Okay? So, the first thing which I'm going to focus on today briefly, I'm not going to cover it extensively because I'm going to cover a few points, at least 5 points in today's episode. Yeah, so I'm not going to, like I've said previously, I'm not going to cover the subject topics extensively. Okay, so first point, we're going to talk for a while about Rahu and Ketu. Okay, their role in the horoscope, their signification rather than their meaning, I would say. Okay, what I've observed through my practice through the years, most people, especially Westerners, I do not pick on anyone's up, for instance, yeah, because I'm a Westerner. I come from Poland, yeah, so I'm just talking about facts, okay? So, what I've noticed, especially Westerners who got their interest in Jyotisha, they've got they haven't got quite, I would say, right perception of Rahu and Ketu. Often you can hear them saying that, oh, Rahu, Ketu, they behave as the dispositors of the signs in which they are situated, in which they are found. For instance, meaning that, yeah, if Rahu is in, let's say, Mina, as we see in the screen, yeah, it's got the tendency to behave as Jupiter or pretend to be a Jupiter. I do not follow that view, okay? I'll explain it to you through why, okay? First of all, what are Rahu and Ketu? These are shadow planets, They are described as Chaya Grahas, okay? So, I call them shadows, personally, yeah? But like I've said, they are described by rishis as Chaya Grahas, shadowy planets. Remember, okay? So, here we've got in that screen, in that chart prepared by me, we've got Rahu, as they really are currently, yeah? Rahu in Mina, Ketu in Kanya for not too long, yeah, before they move signs, yeah, they go to Kumbha and Simha Rashis respectively, yeah. So, you need to remember that where there's Rahu or Ketu in the chart, there's always, most likely, mystery and secret. Okay? So, by their nature, inherent nature, Rahu and Ketu, these are mysterious grahas, as I've said before, Chaya grahas, but most of Westerners, they do not understand, they can't, they can't understand that these Chaya grahas, they both got their own nature and inherent characteristics. Why people do not understand it? Because of lack of knowledge. And I'll repeat that. I'm not trying to pick on someone's up here. I'm just talking about facts. Why? Okay, so I'll send you to, obviously, when we deal with Jyotisha, we study astrological Jyotisha classics. There are quite many of them available on the market. Well, where I'm going to send you. Read, for instance. If you deal with Jyotisha, you should be familiar with such a position, astrological classic, as Uttara Kalamrita by Kalidasa. And Kalidasa, the author of Uttara Kalamrita, he gives extended characteristics of Rahu and Ketu. What do they signify? As I told you before, Rahu and Ketu, they've got their own characteristics, personality traits, their own attitude. Yeah, so I'm sending you. Yeah, they signify many things. I recommend you to read simply Uttara Kalamrita by Kalidasa. Okay, I'll just give you a few meanings of Rahu. Okay, I'm not going to talk about Ketu. I'm just going to talk about Rahu briefly because this is not the episode related to Rahu and Ketu. Okay, so we're not going to focus long on that topic. So I'll give you a few meanings, few significations of Rahu. Rahu signifies, foreigners, Muslims, outcasts. Read Brihad Parashara Horashastra, for instance. By caste, Rahu is an outcast. Ketu is of mixed case. What Rahu signifies? Artificial intelligence in modern times, internet, yeah. Apart from that, poisons, poisoning, yeah, choking, suffocation, death, especially by hanging. When you're hanging on the rope around your neck, it sounds horrible, I know, yeah, but Rahu signifies that kind of tragic death, okay? What else in modern times? Rahu, when you are a gamer, gaming, online games, yeah, any kind of games in modern times, when you use your laptop, PC, yeah, to play in a group, yeah, gaming, yeah, gamers, that is the signification of Rahu. For instance, if you are, a lover of, let's say, fantasy or science fiction books or movies, yeah, if you're interested about science, yeah, you've got interest in science, yeah, Rahu also might signify that, yeah, like I've said, yeah, if you love reading, fantasy, science fiction books or fantasy science fiction movies about aliens or whatever it is, that's the influence of Rahu on you. There are different imagination games, fabular games, so such as, for instance, Warhammer, yeah, very popular game. That's the influence of Rahu. I'm not going to talk about Maya because we all know that, yeah. Rahu is all about Maya, yeah. I'm not going to cover that extensively. Okay, so I'll repeat it for the last time. Yeah, do not make that mistakes. Do not follow that kind of reasoning, saying that Rahu and Ketu, they behave as the ruler of the sign they sit in. They pretend to be that Graha. That's the wrong thinking, obviously. Yeah, they, they by sitting in a particular sign, they might support the ruler of the sign. They might strengthen the ruler of the sign. There is a bond between them, between Rahu or Ketu and their rulers. Yeah, I agree with that. There is a bond, yeah, but they support and strengthen the ruler of the sign. Yeah, they do not pretend to be like them or to behave like them, I would say. Yeah, but what I would say one more time, Yeah, you need to understand. Yeah, they've got their own nature, personality, characteristics. Yeah, their inherent nature. Okay, and they carry a lot of significations. Yeah, their own significations. So, if you ask me such a question, let's say, do I believe in Rahu? Absolutely, I do believe. I'll tell you a quick story, okay? The story which our great grandmother revealed to us, you know. So the story was that once when my great grandmother was very young, she was she was not even 20, yeah? She was 18, 19-year old, a young lady, young girl. She was living obviously in a village. Once she was returning home through the forest. There was a way, the road leading through the forest. She was coming back home on her own. She was young, very attractive young lady, and suddenly she didn't know how, when she was revealing, telling telling the story telling the story to us, she didn't know how suddenly she noticed a very young, very handsome, very charming bachelor or guy, man, appearing nearly in front of her. He was very well dressed, very smartly dressed, you know. He's had very nice clothes. He started to talk to her very wisely. My great grandfather noticed that he was very intelligent. He started to praise her beauty, etc. But the thing is that that young gentleman, he was very charming. He sounded to be very intelligent. Yeah, was talking wisely. Yeah. So my great grandmother, yeah, uh, was listening to that young charming man, yeah, and then suddenly she glanced at his feet, and then, you know, the story I would say has got its sudden turn. Yeah, everything was quite right while my great grandfather was not looking at his feet. When she glanced at his feet, she noticed that instead of human feet, he had hoofs, you know, black hoofs, as the horses here, for instance, got, you know, black hoofs instead of human feet. So she was extremely scared. You know, it was so sudden, yeah, so sudden. Firstly, when she started to talk to that young gentleman, yeah, very charming, very elegant, yeah, dressed smartly, very smartly, yeah, she didn't notice his feet. But when she had a chance to look down, you know, at his feet, she she saw that he had hooves instead of human feet. And then she started to scream, panicking, panicking, and, you know, straight away she started to run away. It was, as she was telling us, it was so scary, you know. So I saw, you know, the expression of her face, you know, the look of her eyes, you know. So I do believe her that she's had such an unusual encounter, and she remembered that throughout her whole life. So I personally think, yeah, it was meeting with the Rahu, meeting Rahu on the on the road leading through the forest. Yeah, so let's, just before we conclude that topic, yeah, I'll just, obviously, if you're serious student of Jyotisha, obviously you've got in your possession Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra, yeah, I told you previously about reading Uttara Kalamrita by Kalidasa, which gives, the extended, significations of Rahu and Ketu. But now I'll just quote you quickly, yeah, shloka from Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra, yeah, about Rahu and Ketu. Shloka 30, yeah, page 29, description of Rahu and Ketu. Rahu has smoke like blue body, lives in forest and is horrible. He is windy in temperament and is intelligent. Like Rahu is Ketu. That's what Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra, Maharishi Parashara, tells us about Rahu and Ketu. That's what I told you previously. They've got their own personality, if we could use such a word, their own traits. They possess their own characteristics. Yeah, it should be clear. They've got their own identity. Okay, yeah. So I read you what Maharishi Parashara says about that. I'm not going to look for the Uttara Kalamrita right now. It lays somewhere, yeah, in my wardrobe. I don't know where it is right now, but by yourself, yeah, Uttara Kalamrita, yeah, see what is the description, yeah, of Rahu and Ketu, what do they signify, yeah, etc., etc. Okay, so that's why I believe in Rahu. I told you the story of my great grandmother and meeting of the Rahu on the road leading through the forest, yeah, Rahu. That young gentleman was very charming, young, very charming, very intelligent, yeah, but had hooves instead, human foot, yeah, foot. Okay, I'm going to conclude that subject. Okay, now second point. Okay, we'll talk about strength of Grahas. This is another common mistake which especially foreigners do, when they talk about the strength of Grahas. They just mention quickly, Shani is the strongest of all Grahas. It's not the truth, okay? Check what Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra says, what Jaimini Sutra says. They both say the same, okay? We'll go quickly to, yeah, Sutra 23 from Jaimini Sutra, okay? So very quickly, yeah, what Maharishi Jaimini tells us. Sutra 23. Of the 7 planets, starting from Ravi, the weakest in natural strength is Shani. Shani is the weakest of the Grahas out of 7. Yeah? Out of 7 planets, starting from Ravi, the weakest in natural strength is Shani. Yeah? So, when we talk about the order of strength, obviously Ravi is the strongest. Then after Ravi comes Chandra. After Chandra comes Shukra. After Shukra comes Guru. When it comes to strength, then after Guru it is Buddha. Yeah? After Buddha is Mangala, and the last one is the weakest is Shani, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Regarding Rahu and Ketu, where to place them? I personally believe, yeah, Rahu is one of the most strongest. The stronger one than Rahu is only Ravi or Surya. Yeah? Rahu is extremely strong, yeah, is stronger than all other Grahas, I would say, in my view, excluding apart from Ravi, yeah, Ravi is the only one who's strongest than Rahu. Remember that. Imagine it this way. Ravana can't beat, can't win over Lord Rama. Okay? Yeah? It can't be that Ravana is stronger than Lord Rama. Okay? So that is my view. Yeah? What about Ketu? Ketu simply doesn't bother about any ranks. Yeah? Doesn't bother who's stronger, who's weaker. Yeah? So Ketu do not compete. Yeah? Do not take a part in such ranking, I would say. Ketu is not bothered at all about that. As I've said, if you check Brihat Parashara Shastra or Jaimini Sutras, when it comes to strength, natural, Naisargika, yeah, strength of Grahas, yeah, from the strongest to the weakest, yeah, Ravi is the strongest, then it comes Chandra, then Shukra, then Guru, then Buddha, then Mangala, and the last, the weakest, the oldest is Shani, and that's what classic says. Okay, so I mentioned Rahu, talked about Rahu and Ketu. So we're going to mm, we're going to close that subject. I wanted to talk about that because, like I've said, especially most of Westerners have got a not correct view on that. Okay, logically, if Shani would be the strongest, yeah, Shani is causing delaying things, causing obstruction. Yeah? If Shani would be the strongest, the life on earth wouldn't be possible at all when it comes to natural signification. Surya, Ravi, and Chandra, these are natural significators of your parents, yeah, through whom you come to this world, yeah, not through Shani, yeah. Later on, when it comes to distinguishing, let's say Chara Caracas, yeah, of the lord of different houses, yeah, then it might happen that Shani, for instance, plays a role of your Matrikaraka or the lord of the ninth house, yeah, but when it comes to natural significators, yeah, Ravi and Chandra, these are significators natural, Caracas of your parents, which in theory should be the biggest, the major benefactors in your life, especially when you are born. You are born due to your parents' union. Okay? So, anyway, I'm going to close that second topic. Just give me a second. Okay? And we're going to talk about something extremely interesting. Yeah? If you've got a open mind for Jyotisha, if you are serious, yeah, please follow. If not, just, I don't want to be arrogant, but if you do not have an open mind or pure heart, yeah, to study Jyotisha, yeah, to study Maharishi's Gemini teaching, just change the channel, okay? We're going to talk about Gulika, okay? Here we've got, I'll show you, just give me a second. You can see in your screen, you can see that abbreviation GK, yeah, Golf Kilo, yeah. So this is Gulika, yeah. As you can see, I mark it as today Gulika. Gulika is in Mesha, yeah. So Gulika, why we're Why are we going to talk about Gulika? Why do I mention Gulika? Yeah, because of Maharishi Jaimini. When you go through Jaimini Sutram, when you study Jaimini Sutram, you will find some sutras, yeah, where Gulika is mentioned. Okay, so for instance, I'll read you a few sutras, okay, where Gulika is mentioned. Okay, so starting from, yeah, this is chapter 1, second quarter, yeah, page 49. We'll start from Sutra 29. Okay, if the Karakamsha Lagna or second from it has Gulika, the native ether poisons others, or he himself dies by consuming poison. Yeah, okay, let's see what the following sutra says. Sutra number 30. If the Gulika, as above, is suspected by Chandra, the native loses his possessions by theft, or he himself is a thief. Yeah. Sutra 31. If this Gulika is suspected by Buddha, the native suffers from hydrocele or has big testicles. Yeah. Okay, and we'll go to one more interesting sutra, 95, page 88. Page 88. So that sutra states, if Rahu and Gulika are in the fourth or fifth, one suffers from mild poisonous bites or from dirty or mean persons. Yeah, here it is related to obviously Karakamsha. So the sutra, yeah, it is the same chapter, yeah, the same chapter 1, yeah. So it is related to, that sutra is related to Karakamsha, yeah. So I'll read it to you one more time, yeah, adding that remark. If Rahu and Gulika are in the fourth or fifth from Karakamsha, it is the meaning, yeah. If Rahu and Gulika are in the fourth or fifth from Karakamsha, one suffers from mild poisons, bites, or from dirty or mean persons. Okay, so these are a few sutras, yeah, where Maharishi Jaimini mentions Gulika. So I believe he doesn't do it without any particular reason. Yeah, he needs to have his own reasons when he mentions Gulika, meaning that Gulika needs to hold some importance. Yeah, so nowadays what we can do regarding Gulika, yeah, and here it comes our open-mindedness. Yeah, it is mainly related to research activity. Okay, we need to do some research regarding Gulika. Yeah, so obviously we can't, we can't just give blind, blind interpretations about Gulika. Yeah, we need to be covered by our research that, our thinking needs to be justified. Okay, so when it comes to research, what I'm thinking of, yeah, I'm just giving you a few hints. Yeah, checking the charts in your possessions, yeah, checking the charts, checking your own chart. Yeah, I'm just giving you my views, okay, on that subject. It is extremely interesting. Yeah, I think that Gulika might be or is related to all kind of addictions. I would say especially to addiction from alcoholic addiction. Yeah, but it might be also related to drug addiction. Yeah, it is worth to check. To check while conducting our research. Yeah, so in my opinion, it might be, and it is, according to me, yeah, alcoholic, yeah, addiction to an alcohol, yeah, might be also related to drug addiction or to food poisoning, yeah, as we're reading through were reading through Maharishi's Jaimini Sutras, he mentioned, about he mentioned poisoning, if Gulika is in the second from, if the second from Gulika is from the second from Karakamsha, Sutra 29, obviously. So bear in mind, check it on the charts if Gulika might be related to food poisoning. Normally, in modern times, we would also get Rahu, include Rahu to that. We would say that Rahu might be related to food poisoning. Obviously, Rahu in the second, taking, different strange weird substances, alcoholic addiction, addiction from alcohol, drugs, might take different stuff when you, for instance, if you're going to the gym, you are a sportsman, so you might take different illegal substances which stimulate your muscles or body growth, things like that. When you are an athlete, for instance, so those different substances which stimulate your, muscles growth or give you more power, etc., etc. But like I'm saying, well, it's worth to try, when it comes to Gulika, if Gulika is related to alcohol addiction, drug addiction, food poisoning, honestly, What I think of Gulika, for instance, in the first, it is worth to, do the research to check if Gulika in the first, as we've got it here, in our model, example chart, which I prepared, Gulika here is placed in the first, I think, my thoughts are going into that direction, that Gulika in the first is might be related to mental health issues or to depression, to developing an anxiety, So it doesn't have to be, I would say, a serious complex mental health issue, So I would say, depression, depression, anxiety, being afflicted by anxiety, depression, so, or having more serious mental health issues as well. So do that research, check if it works or not, okay? So, like I'm saying, Gulika is extremely interesting subject, okay? And when it comes to research, there's a lot which needs to be done to come to, I would say, such, I would say, reliable, conclusion, establish something, what Gulika really shows in the chart, okay? What it reveals. I personally also believe that where is Gulika, in the chart, there is a problem. There is a problem in your life. The problem appears, but this is not an obvious, not clearly visible problem, especially to others. The others can't perceive that, It is more related to within, or to a very, if not to within, to a very private life, when only you and really, really few, one or two people knew about it, Quite often it might be that only you know that such a subtle problem or impact affliction exists in your head, in your brain, in your mentality, something which is bothering you very strongly, So, like I'm saying, where is Gulika? There's a problem in your life, but it is more subtle, This problem is not obvious, to the others, It is not clearly visible, honestly. So it might be well known to you, but others, yeah, wouldn't have a clue, wouldn't even imagine for a second, yeah, wouldn't come to an idea that you struggle with such and such, problem, trouble, dilemma, yeah. So, like I said, very interesting subject. Gulika, doing research on Gulika. Okay, so I'm going to finish talking about that. Then we'll have a few words on Gochara or transits of Grahas. Very simple. Yeah, I'll be very clear. My opinion: you can't be a good astrologer. Yeah, if you don't understand transits, Gochara. Yeah. Also, again, it comes to Westerners. Yeah, I do not pick up on Westerners. I myself, I am a Westerner. Yeah, when it comes to transits, Gochara. Yeah, people have got the tendency to neglect. It is extremely important. Gochara transits are extremely important. Okay, yeah. So I'll just give you a few quick, brief, yeah, examples. Yeah. So imagine. Okay. So I know what I'm talking about. Yeah. You see on that chart, Mangala. Okay. Here, Mangala, Mars. It is quite long transit through the sign of Karka, through Karka Rashi. Mangala was also retrograde, coming back to Mithuna Rashi, yeah, for a while, then coming back to Karka. It's quite a long transit of Mangala through Karka. It happens that this transit is happening in my 10th house, for instance, yeah, in my chart, yeah. Do you think that there is no reason why Mangala is coming through my 10th house? It's got a very significant and very clear meaning, and I see it working 100%. Mangala in Karka, by definition, debilitated, but does it really work like that? It is going Mangala, it's going through the 10th house. You also need to see its position through Navamsha, checking hashtag Barga, many different factors, aspecting, yeah, different transits, yeah, honestly, but I'm just trying to illustrate, yeah, that you need to have the understanding of the transits in your mind. I'm just giving you a few examples, yeah. For me personally, yeah, that transit of Mangala through my 10th house, yeah, is extremely significant, yeah, clearly visible. It's got a huge meaning in my life, bringing, visible effects, yeah. Next, okay, we've got Guru here in the sign of Rishabha, nearly, yeah, nearly leaving the sign of Rishabha. As today, we're talking today, it is Guru is at 29, 17 or 18, something like that. So Guru is at 30th degree, yeah, at 30th last degree of Rishabha, going to leave Rishabha, yeah, soon, yeah, going to Mithuna Rashi, yeah, but still in Rishabha. What I would like to mention here, okay, imagine in my mom's chart, yeah, Guru is going currently through her 11th house, yeah, 11th house, aspecting the 5th, for instance, yeah. Does it have any meaning, any impact? Yeah, as many things, yeah. Here, obviously, I'll mention regarding aspects, check both, yeah. Even if you do Jaimini or you do Parashara, check both aspects, yeah. Check Jaimini, Rashi Drishtis, and check also traditional Parashara aspect, yeah. Does not matter if you do Parashara astrology, or if you do Jaimini, yeah, use both aspects, yeah, it will help you, yeah, it will show you a better view of the situation, yeah. So even taking traditional Parashari view, yeah, Guru in the 11th house in the transit through Vrishaba in my mom's chart, yeah, aspecting the fifth of what? Of children, yeah, showing that the child, yeah, which is me, doing well. The child might have got divine protection, or call it whatever, however you like. There is protection on the child. There might be some achievements, yeah. Child might have some achievements. The child is going through a good, fruitful time, yeah. So, for instance, one of the many things which that transit of Guru through the 11th aspect in the 5th reveals in my mom's chart, yeah, honestly. Okay, so let me clear that quickly. I'll give you one more, okay, one more instance. Okay, let's come back for a wee while to Donald Trump, okay, the current president of USA, okay. So, do you remember, the situation, the circumstances before the last election which took place in the USA? Do you remember that? Did you notice Donald Trump's transits, Gochara, before he was elected? I remember, I don't want to criticize anyone too much, but I heard quite a few astrologers, yeah, predicting that Kamala Harris, yeah, would win over Donald Trump in that last election. Seriously? And these were astrologers who had thousands of followers. So sorry, I'm just going to be a little bit sharp for a second. So, okay, this is not astrology but stupidity. Okay? If you deal with astrology and you neglecting purposely or not Gochara transits, did you saw Donald Trump's transits, Gochara, before the election? You wouldn't have to go through any dashas, because it was visible, extremely visible. What was happening here? What I've marked, yeah, Donald Trump's Lagna, yeah, is Simcha, isn't it? Yeah, Guru still in Rishaba, yeah, in his natal chart he's got Surya and Rahu in the 10th in Rishaba, I believe, yeah. Shani was still retrograde, going through Kumbha Rashi, yeah. Honestly, there was Mangala in Karka, I believe, yes. There were some aspects on his fourth house, which is Raj Simhasana, White House, yeah. Aspects on the 10th, yeah, obviously. Yeah, so if you obviously Shani was going through the 7th, yeah, Guru was going through the 10th. There were aspects on Raj Simhasana, the fourth of Donald Trump, meaning the White House, yeah. Honestly, you wouldn't even, it was so obvious, yeah. It was not even an astrological challenge to do that prediction that Donald Trump would win the US election, yeah. So I believe serious astrologers didn't even bother about, predicting who's going to win, because by seeing simply Donald Trump's Gochara, it was simply very, very clearly visible that he would win the election, obviously, yeah. And if you would bet, on who would win, yeah, they wouldn't pay you, I would say they wouldn't pay you even £1, yeah, if they took into consideration the Gochara of Donald transits before election. Yeah, it was so obvious checking. You can do it on your own as an exercise. Yeah, check Donald Trump's Gochara on the day of election, and you will see everything. Yeah, it is more than visible, obviously. Instead of going through dashas, checking Kamala Harris, dashas, Donald Trump dashas, it was enough to check that Gochara. He's had two strong, two good transits to lose the election. It was obvious, honestly. Yeah, and I'm going to finish talking, elaborate on that. Okay, let me just clear that picture briefly. Okay, let me just clear a few things here. We're going to talk about another research. Okay, I'll give you a few hints. I believe it is valuable and useful. Okay, and what you do with it, yeah, it's your own choice. Okay, I'll just encourage you to check. Okay, to check that what I'm going to tell you. Okay, so what you do, whatever you like to do with it. Okay, so I'm going to focus on the, I would say, on the tumor developing cancer, developing, I would say, long-term illness, prolonged illness, very serious, fatal disease, yeah, terminal, I would say, illness, yeah, like I'm saying, cancer, yeah, developing cancer, tumor, yeah. So check what I'm going to show you. Yeah, when you see someone's chart, yeah, your own chart, focus on aspects, okay? Aspects on malefics on the 12th house, yeah. Basically, when you see someone's chart, I'll show you, yeah. Give you the example. If you see the, just give me a second. Just need to draw. Okay, just need to draw. If you see, for instance, yeah, aspects of malefics, like, for instance, like Rahu or Shani, yeah, or Shani, both of them, yeah, aspects or too many malefics, yeah, we can get, let's say, another one, Mangala, there, yeah, aspects of Shani, Rahu, Mangala, on the 12th house, yeah, on the horoscope, yeah, I'm not talking about giving the predictions of what time, yeah, giving the timing of the event, yeah, it comes through the dashas, it will be revealed through the appropriate dasha, but when you see the chart for a first time, yeah, when you do not go to dashas yet, yeah, when you see the situation when there are malefics like Shani, Rahu, yeah, Mangala, aspecting the 12th from Lagna, remaining in the 12th from Lagna, it might be the sign that the person throughout their life might develop some serious illness, yeah, long-term illness, yeah, terminal disease, yeah. The person might suffer from, from cancer, might have a tumor, will require, I would say, long-term professional assistance, cure, treatment in the hospital, yeah. So check for that influence of malefics like Shani, like Rahu, like Mangala on the 12th house of the horoscope. It might reveal in due time suffering from very serious disease, prolonged illness, terminal illness such as, let's say, cancer, tumor, yeah. It might be that the person would develop cancer, would have a tumor, yeah, which would require the person, yeah, to be hospitalized, yeah, have a special, yeah, complex therapy, in order to improve their health, in order to cure them from such a serious disease. Okay, yeah. So that's the hint. Do not ignore that malefics aspecting the 12th house or remaining in the 12th house. Okay, so check it on the charts belonging to you, the people you know. Yeah, so that's my hint, and see if it works or not. Okay, but when it comes to timing, yeah, appropriate particular dasha will reveal the timing. Okay, and I would like to, just to close that session, I would like to talk about the last thing. According to me, one of the keys to Jyotisha is the dignity. Grahas, similar to us, they've got their own sense of dignity. Yeah, when you deal with Jyotisha, it's worth to reflect on dignity, what it is, the right to have your own dignity. Reflect on that, what I said. Yeah, reflect on the right to have your own dignity. Grahas, Navagrahas, yeah, they've got their own dignity. For a while, I'll tell you exactly what is my point. Again, the same story. Most of, especially Westerners dealing with Jyotisha, can't truly or really comprehend what they dealing with, but they are still plain smart while talking about different, they use such word, archetypes. Yeah, archetypes when it comes to the perception of grahas. They love to use such word as archetypes. Yeah, they talk about archetypes of grahas, blah blah blah. Yeah, when you deal with Jyotisha, stay far away from that word. Do not mix it up. Do not refrain from that pseudo astropsychology. It's a lot of rubbish. Lots of rubbish. My response to such people, not to criticize them, yeah, not to pick on them up, yeah, but my response is that they do not have any idea what they deal with. Okay, honestly, grahas are, at some point, I would say, to some extent, are very similar to us. Yeah, they are similar to us. Grahas are, are living beings. Grahas are living beings. So, if you want, you can adopt that kind of view. That's my point of view. Not talking about archetypes of grahas, da 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 da. It's absolutely misleading and worthless. Okay, if you want to understand Jyotisha, do not follow that direction. You'll finish your, I would say, journey with Jyotisha at the point when you'll be just doing astropsychology, pseudo-astropsychology, astropsychologizing, yeah, instead of touching the core, touching the truth. Grahas are living beings. They've got their own identity. They've got their own characteristics, inherent traits, attitude, and it leads us to dignity. Yeah? Grahas like us. They've got their own dignity. Yeah? And this is one of the keys to understand Jyotisha. Think about your own dignity. Think about Grahas. Perceive them as living beings with their own identity instead of talking of them in terms of archetypes, yeah, which is, like I said, totally misleading. Yeah, it won't lead you anywhere. Yeah, you won't touch the truth, you won't touch the core. Yeah, when you will perceive Grahas in the terms of archetypes. Okay, so this is it for today. I'm going to finish that episode. I hope it was very interesting for those serious, keen students of Jyotisha. So I hope, yeah, you stay well. Yeah, good luck, and I'll see you when I'll see you in the future. Take care. God bless.